member of the House Foreign Affairs Committee. Florida Congressman Brian Mast joins me. Congressman Mast is an Army veteran. He's having been awarded a Purple Heart. He's earned a Bronze Star and the Army Commendation Medal for Valor. Good evening, sir. I suspect that the Secretary of State is sort of dodging and doesn't want to testify before the committee about what happened in Afghanistan and what he might have known or advised the president, since this was a joint operation with the Department of State. But you subpoenaed him for this week when every foreign minister in the world is in New York, and he's a foreign minister, Secretary of State. So it was like you gave him good ammunition for why he shouldn't show up. He's doing his job.
Yeah, I think you could make that argument if you want to. He was subpoenaed for this week. The fact is, Chairman McCall literally offered him any day in September, whether it be a Saturday or a Sunday, or whether it be a Tuesday or a Wednesday, any day in September that you can come by here, because the report was just released at the end of the month. We are happy to host you. You give us the date, we will be here. And that was the reality of the situation.
So where does it go from here? He has to go to the full House, whether he's held in contempt. And then, of course, if he is held in contempt, it goes to the Attorney General of the United States, who has the obligation or the option to prosecute him or not. And that's never happening, right? He's not going to prosecute the Secretary of State.
You're absolutely correct. You're correct in your assessment of it. It will go to a full House floor vote. And then, again, do we have an administration that's going to hold their own Secretary of State up to these standards? No, it's certainly not the case. But you can look at this as well and say this is the MO for Secretary of State Blinken. We're talking about the Afghanistan withdrawal. And the reality is, and this is something I spoke about in length, just like he wasn't present today, he was not present during the Afghanistan withdrawal when there were special immigrant visas, those that were seeking those to the tune of hundreds of thousands. He was vacationing in the Hamptons. When there was province after province falling in Afghanistan, he was vacationing in the Hamptons. When our embassy was being overrun, he was vacationing in the Hamptons. He wasn't paying attention to what was the largest State Department operation probably in the history of the country. During that time, he was vacationing in the Hamptons, and that should trouble everybody.
It's the other thing, too, is that his job is to advise the president. And I guess I'm still stuck on the fact that the president in the debate in June said that no one died during his administration in uniform, which is 13 at Abbey Gate, and not to mention 170 civilians that died there. And, sort of as I'm curious what Secretary of State Blinken, how he advised him on that withdrawal as it related to the State Department responsibilities in evacuating people.
I think we know a lot about what the Secretary of State advised, and it wasn't about reality on the ground. It was about political explanations to the media around the world about, we can tell you this is what we want you to report is happening, but it's not really what was actually happening, right? They were ignoring what happened in the dissent cable from all of those diplomats in Afghanistan, telling them, don't do this. This is going to be what happens if you do this. He was advising the president, ignore what the dissent cable told you. Don't tell the American people that we're going to end up leaving Americans behind. Go out there and tell the American people that we won't leave any Americans behind, because these are things that literally the Secretary of State and Jake Sherman and others were out there saying, Jennifer Psaki, all of those that were in front of a microphone. These are things that they were saying that were the exact opposite of what was being told to us in those transcribed interviews.
Well, there's a lot of cat and mouse that goes chasing Washington between Republicans and Democrats, but I do think the Secretary of State needs to come in and explain what happened and why it happened. And I don't know if you ever get him to testify about it. Congressman Brian Mast, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Greta.
Hey everyone, thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed the video, please click like and subscribe. I will be back on YouTube with more exclusive content, so stay tuned.